Once at the poker table, we had the SWAT team coming and raiding the casino. They took all the people at the table because they had a GPS signal that 2 people on this table are the people they're looking for, and those 2 people had a hostage at home. So yeah, this is
No
insane.
way, really?
I got hate messages on Instagram, Facebook, then I blocked them there. He created a chess.com account called my name, William Engelhard, and my chess account, writing a long paragraph. He was like, yeah, I will destroy you, I will take everything. Then someone sent me a Spotify playlist with the title William is a piece of shit. And then there's like titles of music like...
My guest today is William Engelhard. He's a professional stand-up comedian from Berlin. He does comedy in both English and German and is one of the funniest people I know. He's a close friend and I always love talking to him about comedy and life, and he has some of the craziest stories ever. Let's dive in. Awesome. Today we're here with William Engelhard, one of my best buddies and great buddy and great comedian in the Berlin scene. Welcome to the podcast, dude.
Hey, happy to be here. Happy to be part of this. There was no technical difficulties to this point. So everything.
Yeah, so we're starting 50 minutes late, actually. So I apologize. And so I had issues. Then actually on your end, there were some webcam issues. Then so both of us. Anyways, we're here now. So good to see you, man. And just to start out, we started around the same time. Could you actually tell us how you started with a stand-up in the first place?
Oh, that's a long story. So I started also 4 months before COVID hit in 2019. And what led me to start stand-up comedy was that I was very unhappy with law school. I was a law school student. And then life was bad, no money, no happiness in law school. And then, I don't know, took the jump, tried something out new. And then I started in 2019 with stand-up comedy and doing it since then. Yeah.
That's awesome. And because you started also with a comedy class first, right?
Yes. True, actually, yeah. So the first time I went on stage was actually half a year before I really started comedy. It's like this Caroline class that is Caroline Clifford. She's doing like beginner classes because it's it's hard to gain confidence and you always feel like, yeah, there's a workshop who can give me for the first step. And it really helped. And
Sure.
But then it took me, after this class, it took me like 10 months to really start because I could feel already there's a difference. Because in the end of the workshop class is like a graduation show where there's like a little comedy show, friends come, and I already could sense that it's a huge difference because they want to laugh, they want to give you the love. And then I still waited for 10 months because I was too nervous going to a real comedy show. And then found the courage to do so and was great, yeah.
That's all. I mean, how was it? Would you recommend? Because I've heard, I mean, he's one of the best, so it's hard to say something against him. But Jerry Seinfeld, apparently he says, no, you cannot teach comedy and comedy classes are BS. So they're like, there's a famous anecdote where apparently a famous comedy class invited him to give a speech and he was like, if you're even here, you're not going to make, or something like that. It was pretty strict about it. What's your take? I mean, obviously it helped you. And I know in the Berlin scene, there's so many who went through Caroline's class and it was amazing for them. Well, what's your take and how does it actually, does it prepare someone well?
I don't want to sound like an asshole right away in the podcast, but generally
I don't mean to. I just want your opinion, dude. It's
so, in my case, if the podcast is the way that you finally go on stage. The workshop. If the workshop, the comedy workshop, is brings you on stage in the end, then it's great. It should also not cost a lot. Mine was 160 euros. But if there is a workshop, there's a lot of workshops who teach you further stuff, advanced stuff. I don't think you need it. Yeah, there's like workshops I heard in America, in New York for $400 or something. And if you're very honest, if you always look at workshops and if you always look at comedy book writers, I mean, let's be honest, there's never people who made it. so if there's very passionate people doing workshops, really very passionate people, and they bring you so much joy starting this acting. They do such a good job doing this. But for later, once you started, I mean, you have to figure out your own instrument, your own comedic voice. So I don't think that someone can help you that easily. Okay, sounds a bit slightly like an ass.
No,
but,
I mean, dude, that's your opinion, and it's you clearly know about comedy because you've been doing it for a while, and I love your comedy. So, I mean, recently also we met in we usually we hang out speaking in German also, unless we're hanging out with our mutual friends in English. But now you actually do more German comedy, and what's your take actually? Like, do you prefer doing German comedy than English?
Oh, that's also strict. That's also a difficult question. So, the first 2 years I was doing English comedy because I was like, yeah, the best comedy is from UK, the best comedy is from America, and it's still to this point the best comedy in my opinion. So I was like, yeah, of course I have to do English comedy. This is where I learn real comedy. But after 2 years, I never went to a comedy show in German before then, right? It's insane, right? I'm a German living, born and raised in Berlin, never went to a German comedy show for 2 years because I was so focused on English comedy. But then I went to a comedy show of a very big headliner. He's like an arena comedian, Felix Lobrecht. And then it totally changed my view about German comedy because for me it was more like very clean, very dumb. But he is very inspired by American comedians. So I could see, wow, Germany is also really getting to this point that it's really like American stand-up comedy. And then, yeah, I went there and now there's a huge comedy boom in Germany and all the young comedians are inspired by the big greats from America. So I think Germany is getting there. And there's a lot of people who love the real stand-up comedy. And so now I do like 80% in German because I'm a German. It's easier for me, I have to say, right? To do German comedy. So I probably, I do 80-90% do German comedy now, but still do English comedy because I want to test if a material that I build in German comedy also works in English. Because my dream is that I build 2 hours at the same time a little bit. And so then also, but this gives me also some rules. I cannot use typical words that only are in one language. I cannot use phrases so easily and stuff. And so I talk way too much right now about this little question.
No, that's great, dude. That's awesome. Obviously, you're here to speak. So, dude,
I love comedy so much, so I can talk all the time.
So you have rules? Like, what do you mean? Like, because you're German, you have to have rules? Is that what you mean? Or is
No, because if
I'm kidding. So
there's rules in Germany for sure. So if I want to write comedy that it works in 2 languages, which is kind of not super possible, but if I write jokes in German, I try not to do puns so much because puns usually don't work in 2 languages at the same time. And then I try, not to do too much on references about Germany, or also if I write English, not too much reference, because my dream would be that both connects a little bit, you know? So I cannot, if I write German comedy, but it's tricky. I have jokes in English that don't work in German because there's a reference missing, and the same in the other hand. And
that's what I noticed. Like when I was doing more German comedy, obviously you and I, we speak German. That's kind of our first language, so to speak. And then, so language is not the issue. But man, I noticed I'm so out of the German culture that all these references, I had no idea. So often the other comedians would be on stage and talk about stuff. And I was like, I don't even know who this rapper is they're talking about. And then they were like, Contra K, don't you know Contra K? And I was like, oh, I don't. And apparently it's like the biggest rapper in the German scene. I don't know. So anyways.
I know, kind of. But he's big. Yeah, he's a big artist.
He's a big, yeah. For me, I mean, I just know all the old rappers. But anyways. So is there a joke that works really well for you, or that you love that works only in one language and not in the other?
Yeah, I mean, I have this joke I like right now. It's a bit edgy. I say I talk about the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and which is a foundation who helps dying kids. But then the joke is that it should be called Second Best Wish instead of Make-A-Wish. Because the first wish of the kid will always be not to die.
Oh, man.
So the joke is, I make it more fun, like how I say right now. But the problem is I cannot...
But it's true. Yeah, it's a fun joke.
Yeah.
It's a good joke. It's a good joke.
I think so too. But in Germany, I tried it and no one knows Make-A-Wish, the charity in Germany. There's no German Make-A-Wish. And so I cannot do this. And it kills kind of good in English comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no foundation like that? No charity?
I don't think so. I don't like not as big as I think Make-A-Wish, but yeah. So there's no. It's not. Maybe there's a way around, but it's not. It's just it really only works in English if you know Make-A-Wish, I think. But so
Right.
yeah, this is and then
Yeah,
also
that's a good. It's a
Yeah,
good joke. Sorry. No, sorry.
And-
We were too polite. Please.
yeah, sorry. The 20% of the podcast will be me and Pascal apologizing for the delay of each our internet.
Yeah.
Two nice
Basically.
guys having a podcast.
Oh man. Yeah, that sounds like a good name actually.
Yeah.
A very good name. Dude,
But
so
do
actually
you-
before
Do you
Yeah,
have
no.
do you have jokes that you felt like worked in both languages?
Yeah, there were some jokes that worked in both languages, but I noticed I preferred also just some word jokes did not work so well. Some puns or wordplay jokes did not work in German because I'd written them in English. And like the Asian stuff would always work in both languages. But there also, I don't really do an Asian accent in German. So I couldn't really act out the accents, you know? So I just felt, yeah, that felt weird.
I don't know why, but I think you could pull it off.
No, I don't know. But yeah, the German scene is awesome. I think it's really, really good. The clubs are, the shows are really good. The clubs are really good. They pay well. And yeah, the comedians are really nice. And yeah, I hear in the English scene, it's more like there are more hangouts. Whereas in German, it's more business, I guess. That's what I heard. But yeah, it's a really, really cool scene. Very cool scene.
It's, because the scene is a bit bigger. In the German scene, it's slightly bigger because a lot of touring comedians coming then also from other cities.
Right.
Sometimes recently I had a mic, I didn't know anyone. And this is quite crazy for doing a mic in my own city. Like, and so that can happen. But
Right.
yeah, I love that the English scene has a huge community vibe and also that the English scene is like people from all over the world, which is crazy. You have like people from India, America, and
Right.
it's crazy. It's cool.
Dude, I mean, that's how I felt like a bit in the German scene also, just because I was a different face. It was easy to get on shows. That really helped. So that's why I would do a lot of shows in German very quickly because, yeah, and it was good stage time. And then all the hosts were really nice and stuff to me. So anyways, before we get into more comedy, I always wanted to ask you because I didn't know this for a long time, but I kind of assumed, but I knew your email address, not to mention it here, but I knew your email address. And then I found out your favorite movie.
Yeah.
Your favorite movie is this movie.
Hey, yes.
Yes. Is it true? Is it actually still your favorite movie?
It's for sure my favorite childhood movie. That's for sure. And I can always, it's a feel good movie too. Like I feel like if I watch it, I feel good. It's a great movie. It's a trilogy. It's a great trilogy.
Yeah.
And,
which was your favorite?
Wow, that's a good question. I think the second one was cooler because I was like they're traveling in the future and in the past. But yeah, I think I like the second. I would go for the second.
Oh, you like the second one the most, really?
I know. So I even like the third one a lot too. Like, but it's
yeah, the third one with the Wild West is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'm so good that I only did the trilogy because like I think doing it longer is. And I like that. I think the director said it that there will no remake or something like this until like when he's alive. So he will never make this happen.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect movie, right? I mean, you cannot remake it. Yeah, it's you like the second one, Back to the Future, because
there's more action. I feel like there's like the plot is.
Wow.
I don't know. Like also,
do you know it's based on Donald Trump, by the way?
Based on Donald Trump, which
Biff when Biff is the casino magnate. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. But sure, it makes sense now. Yeah.
And do you know Biff is the actor? Biff is a stand-up comedian, I think.
I didn't know. I mean, Trump is a joke too.
No. So apparently because he's such a good bully, but no. On set, he was apparently really likable. Everyone loved him so much. He was like a really goofy guy, and everyone loved him. But obviously, as Biff, he's really mean and really a good bully.
Did you know that for the first movie, they shot almost like, I think, half of the movie with another main character? Like, this was not Michael J. Fox, it was someone else. They already, and then the director said, hey, I don't feel it. We need to change it. Oh, this is insane. Like, you could never do this. Yeah. But he was right, I guess.
Yeah, dude, Michael J. Fox, perfect.
I also have a photo with Christopher Lloyd together. I paid for it at the Comic-Con. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it so quickly. Probably not.
What? But you can send it and we can put it in after. What? Where's Comic-Con?
Comic-Con is like it's
in Germany.
It's in Germany. It's like
in San Diego.
Huh?
You mean the Comic-Con in San Diego?
No, there's also a German version of it, and so they have like events, like it's like the American thing. There's like a lot of cosplays. There's people from TV shows coming, from movies coming, and then there was like Christopher Lloyd coming, and then I was like, yes, for 60 euros a photo. I was I do this easily, and I was kind of lucky because I did the photo with him. We talked. I was like, hey, thanks for the movies. Yeah, you're welcome. Blah, blah. And then I go to the photo machine and it was broken. And then I had to do it again. So I had another. I hugged him twice. So this is what I want to say.
Nice. Nice. Dude, I always thought Christopher Lloyd is old because as Doc, he looks old. But actually, he was only a few years older than Marty McFly, right?
I don't know. Maybe
he's not that old.
Was he ever young? Like, maybe he has a time machine. We don't know.
Maybe he's like Arjen Robben, right? The football player who...
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so speaking of the perfect movie, I was looking at some stuff, and not everyone seems to like the movie that much. Even though
the second one?
Yeah, even though it's like the perfect movie, not everyone seems to like it so much. So I found actually a review. What do you think about this? So, harsh language is heard in every scene. This sci-fi would have been perfect if the tacky swearing didn't exist. I still think it could be more enjoyable without foul language in every scene. I have only seen it 1.5 times in my life for those reasons. It'd be a lot more times for me if it didn't blurt obscene words in every scene. It's just too inappropriate. So, my question is, like, I've seen the movie also multiple times. What are they talking about?
First of all, I'm very happy. It's very funny that it took him 1.5 movies to say, no, that's enough. Right? It's like, he watched the whole movie, said, boy, this was a lot of harsh language. And then one day he was like, okay, I want to watch it again. And then half of the movie is like, no, it's enough. Like, I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah. But, dude, I mean, what are the, like, Doc Brown, he keeps saying, great Scott. That's the harsh language?
Is that even an F word? I don't know, right? I don't remember.
No way.
I watched this movie when I was 10, right? I mean, like, there was nothing bad. Like,
yeah, I don't think there is at all. What's the obscene? I don't know. Okay. So wait, the last time you've seen it was when you were 10? You haven't seen it since?
The first time.
Okay.
But actually, it's a good point. I didn't see the trilogy for... how long did I see it anymore? Like, maybe I should watch it this weekend. It's like... I didn't see it for a while, actually. And so, like, detailed questions, I will probably fail now. But this is not a movie for harsh language. No, it's like...
I don't think so. Also, do you remember that scene where, in the second one, your favorite one, where they're in the future, and it's 2015, and everything looks super futuristic, but... we're now in 2025 and it's well, in some ways it is more advanced, I guess. But
yeah, also there was what was it, Jaws 15 or something?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then the what's it called? Hoverboard. They could eat. They just put stuff in the microwave and then it just makes food.
Yeah, wasn't there some invention that happened though? Like, I don't remember, but it's
in our world or in theirs.
I mean, we don't have flying hoverboards, but we have electro scooters now, which is
right. Well, we have AI, we have space rocket ships. We will have. I heard there's gonna be flying taxis soon, so it's kind of similar.
It's also so cool, like in the movie when he had the sport almanac. Right, I don't know how to say it in English. The magazine with all the sport results, and then he goes back. This is such a smart idea.
Yeah.
also it's like plot-wise when you write it, like when you think, how can someone have power, right? Like if I tell you, hey, if you have a time machine, everyone would say, yeah, the lottery, I want to play the lottery or something like that, right? So gambling is actually very good if you have time travel.
Yeah, that's true. When you have 100% certainty.
Yeah.
What is like a time you would go back into if you had a DeLorean?
Yeah, by the way, I want to say it will happen in this life that I will own a DeLorean. It's really, I tell everyone, I think the only reason I don't have a driver license, I'm 36, I don't have a driver license, but I know the moment I can afford buying a DeLorean, I will make a driver license. No, it's not, I will have one DeLorean in this life. Yeah, no, this has to happen. It will maybe hopefully my first car. But
and you're gonna put like a flux capacitor in there?
Changing is tough because once in a while I'm always on websites checking how much a DeLorean is. Sometimes you can find for 20,000. Now it's 40,000 or something. I will buy one. Okay, so
really? But can they even drive? Are they still in?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you can. And the times I would go back is I really love the Greek mythologies, and I would love to see the temples and what was it all about. Right? I mean, it's the Greek, the gods and everything. I probably would love to see that. Yeah.
The Greek mythology, who's your favorite god? Or who's your favorite god?
Who's your favorite god?
That's a bad question. That's
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. It's like, I remember when I was in elementary school, I did like presentations about all the gods I could say. And I forgot probably almost all of it, but there's the world wonders, right? There was a Zeus temple. Yeah, where is it now? Like, how big did it look? And like, I'm also so surprised it was a whole designed religion and belief, and then the Christianity replaced it so easily. I want to see what was the Greek mythology about, and there was philosophy was big and stuff. It must really look right.
Right. I mean, you're into stoicism, right?
Yeah, since last year. I'm still not a big expert, but I really can see why the philosophy is great. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And who would be a person you'd like to have dinner with from the past? Would it be one of those gods like Hercules? I mean, he's a demigod, but
dinner with. I mean, dinner with. Generally from this time, but also generally, who I would love to have dinner with in the past? Who died that I would love to meet? I mean, of course, I would love to meet Lenny Bruce for sure. Now go back to comedy. It's not Greek mythology. He was one of the first stand-up comedians who was edgy. I would love to meet him for sure. But who else would I love to meet? Like a big famous person? Who else? Do you have someone? Can you maybe start and then I have
I was thinking about it a lot. I think possibly I would just like to have lunch or dinner with Jesus just to see what he was about.
Very good point. And then figuring out
he's a god according to Christians, so it'll be interesting. No,
he's not a god. He's not a god.
Yeah, he's son of God, so he's
meeting Jesus, if he was real, would have been like he probably was real, but was he really that powerful? Like, could he really heal people or
could he turn water into wine? Yeah, who knows?
Yes, such lame superpowers if you think about it. If you compare it to the Greek mythology, right? Way better. They can make like lightning and tides.
Dude, that's a bit, man.
That's a bit. Yeah, I talked about this I talked about this on stage before because I don't understand. It's like changing the Avengers to, I don't know, to Batman only, or okay, no, I don't want to make a big nerd fest now, but it's like just so much gods, so much superheroes, and then there's this one dude, right? Like, wow, I don't know.
Wow,
because he was relatable.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I mean, I'm Christian, and I don't even know, right? I only know from a book that was written less than 2,000 years ago, so by multiple people. So we don't know. Well, anyway, Lenny Bruce. So Lenny Bruce is one of your favorite comedians?
It's also, I mean, not favorite. I mean, I listened to his albums now recently, but for people who don't know Lenny Bruce, like I tried to make it in 30 seconds. In the 50s and 60s, stand-up comedy was more like very clean and family friendly. And he was one of the first comedians who talked against the church a little bit, talked against stereotypes. And then he used also words like fuck and swear words on stage. But the problem was that they put him to jail every fucking night, right? So he goes on stage, does an open mic, test material. He says the word fuck, police comes, put him in jail. He was in jail all the time. But this is, I mean, it's horrible that this happens. But in the end, this opened the doors that people get more comfortable with speaking truth, because speaking truth or speaking your truth and using swear words. And his whole story was so sad because they even put him to court, and then the court was reading his jokes, and he was like, "Let me read my jokes, so they're supposed to read out loud so that you understand what I mean." And they didn't do it. He wanted to go to UK. He got banned. He had to leave right away from UK. And then he was a heroin addict more and more. And in the end, he died by an overdose. And then even more brutal towards him, when the cops figured out that he's dead, they let every reporter get in and make photos of his corpse, right? He was laying there naked in his bathroom, and they let every reporter in for hours to make photos of Lenny Bruce because he died. And this is such a touching story,
crazy.
and it makes me so angry. And so he opened the doors. He was also in jail with George Carlin. George Carlin was also once in jail. And also, not to make it too long, but I was so touched by that. There's a documentary that got an Oscar about Lenny Bruce. And because of that, I contacted also his daughter. His daughter is still alive. She's like 68 or something. And then I wanted to buy a shirt from her shop. She has a Lenny Bruce Foundation where she collects money against drug addiction. And then I told her that I was very touched by her story. And then we became kind of pen pals. And she sent me a vinyl signed by her and a t-shirt. And then we became like pen pals. And so...
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, this was also amazing. Before I started comedy, or 1 month in. And this is like universe giving you a sign.
Yeah. I mean, you ran one of the biggest or the biggest Discord server for comedy, right?
Yes, it happened because also out of insecurity, because it's the time spent doing this workshop in comedy and finding the confidence. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to talk to comedians to learn about it before I start. And then there was this new social media called Discord where you can create a community. And then there was no about stand-up comedy. So I created one, went on Reddit everywhere, and then it was up to 3,000-4,000 people. And and then I had comedians talking to each other. Yeah, this is great to see. There was also comedians all over the world. Still go on there. It's a stand-up comedy network. I'm still part of it. But there's a group of people in Canada and America who want to do big stuff with community and stand-up comedy all over the world. And then they asked me if they can have it. And then we found a way that I was fine with it. I lost the passion for doing this online thing because I was doing so much live already that it was very important for the time I started. It was very helpful. I also interviewed a couple of comedians there. I interviewed Matthew Broussard, who was on Jimmy Fallon twice. I also interviewed the legendary Nick Nemiroff, who's not famous, but he was a great comedian from Canada, who's also been on Conan. And then he died 1 year after my podcast with him. Like, it was so sad. Yeah. And so, lots of funny memories. And,
I mean, speaking of funny memories, do you mind sharing the crazy story, actually, that happened
the
via
Stalker,
your Discord server? Yeah.
So, there was like... This is so
Dude, that's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.
The whole story is insane. So, imagine you run an online community, and you also need to sometimes ban people because they don't fit. And there was this one guy, and he was very passionate about stand-up comedy, very active in the voice chats, in the text chats, a lot of communication. But it then happened that he became more and more weird. He was always picking fights and was sensitive. And then I DM'd him and said to him, "Hey, bro, I don't think that's a good fit because your energy is weird. You're always fighting." So I banned him. And he didn't like that I banned him. He was very angry. And I give him a lot of talks and explained to him that he's a nice guy. It's not hateful or something. But then after I banned him, I got hate messages on Instagram, Facebook. Then I blocked him there. He created a chess.com account called my name, William Engelhard, and my chess account, writing a long paragraph. He was like, yeah, I will destroy you. I will take everything, blah, blah, blah. Then Spotify, someone sent me a Spotify playlist with the title William is a piece of shit. And then there's like titles of music like I Hope You Die in Fire and everything.
Oh my God, dude.
But then I did something bad too because I'm an idiot. I didn't know how to handle it. Because imagine you wake up every day getting messages on very sensitive contacts. And so someone gave me his phone number from his work. He worked for an insurance company. And then I called him at work. He was like, hey, my name is... I was like, hey, here, your favorite victim, you know? And then he was even more angry. I contacted his family. They told me he got banned from comedy scenes for using the N-word. Like, it was very wild.
Oh my God.
And then the worst or the funniest part is that he entered a stand-up comedy competition in Washington where you pay $10 and you can win money in the end. And he talked 8 minutes only about me on silence.
Oh my God.
And that was really bad. It was really, really bad. I downloaded the video he put it on YouTube. I downloaded it instantly. Now he removed the video. I still have the video. And this was so bad. And yeah. And
dude,
since
do
then,
you still watch? I mean, that's amazing. You, like a complete stranger, was so obsessed with you. That's absolutely crazy. Based on...
Yeah. I think I have empathy for him, even though I was very angry. I think sometimes when you get lonely, you get a bit crazy. And I think in his heart, he's a nice guy. And he's also I think he's also has talent for comedy, actually. But something really fucked him up. And so he cannot take rejection that well. And
oh, man.
But I checked once in a while. I check his socials to see how he's doing. I feel like, but I don't know. He doesn't seem in a good space. But I'm not there anymore in the space.
Damn. Okay, dude, that's crazy, man. That's absolutely off. I mean, you knew how I think you know how to navigate this also well because yeah. I mean, you're a trained lawyer. Legal advisor.
Yeah.
And you also helped me out so much, dude. I'm forever grateful in a particular case. And I want to ask, like, you study law, obviously. Does being a trained lawyer and being trained in law help you become a better comedian?
I think on one hand you get, because when you do law, you get knowledge about how society works, which is fine. You learn a lot of topics. You learn about criminal law. You have an overall very good knowledge about how the world works, which is good probably. But also language, being aware of how a language works can help you. With comedy, you need to know which languages have effect in communication and which words have what effect in the communication. So you need to be good with the language you speak, I feel like. And
right.
This helps too. And
because when you look at in many cultures, I think in the US before Donald Trump, most US presidents had some kind of background in law. They studied law or worked as lawyers because I think it helps them become better communicators. And
for sure,
obviously,
but also
stand-up comedy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, also in the German parliament, most of them are lawyers. It's also because you need to know the law to understand the power in politics. And also, in the end, comedy is also pattern recognition, if you really think about it. Because these kind of words in this way make this laugh, right? Or these kind of words also, I mean, this is what you do in law too. When you read the law, it's like pattern recognition and arguments and stuff. And kind of, it's a little bit, comedy's a bit like this too. Because you know, if they do this sentence and this, and then they will laugh. It's a bit kinder similar, I would say.
Right.
But law is really not creative. For everyone listening, if you only want to study law because everyone says it's great, they're lying to you. They want you to be miserable. They want you to be sad. This was the worst 7 years of my life, and but I'm grateful for learning.
You're grateful for the bad times? Now you're stoic, I guess. So you're just grateful.
It was a bit too long, but I suffered longer than it should. But it taught me resilience, that's for sure. You need to
Well, actually, while you were working, if you don't mind me asking, you actually had a very interesting job during your studies before you did stand-up. Could you share a bit more about that and how you even got into in the casino?
Yeah, I used to work from the law to the unlaw things, but
I mean it is legal, right? So yeah,
it's super legal in a casino.
You were also in a big. How did you even get into it? Like, did you first start gambling yourself, and then?
I was young and I needed the money, so no. So after high school or A levels, or I don't know how you call this in America, but after finishing school, I wanted to study law, but I didn't get in. So I was like, okay, what do I do in the meantime? And then I used to play a bit poker, or at the poker boom, I was there too. And then the casino was looking for people who want to be poker dealers. And then I was like, yeah, sure, let's do this. And then, I worked there for a very long time. And there's lots of crazy stories in a casino. Casino is a very wild place, especially if you're like 20. And because there's people, millionaires, there's broke people, there's famous people, there's criminals, and so even during law school, I was working there then. Yeah.
Okay, criminals? Why? Did you know that there are criminals there?
Of course, because look, sometimes you just, they don't look. So sometimes you just know because you talk to them. Because it's really what you're doing but sometimes you do small talk with a guest, and then he's like, nothing, import export. I was like, okay.
Of course, sure. Wait, so you were 20 when you started, and you just got like, do you need some certification? Is there some like blackjack school or something?
Yeah, there was like there's a 3 months or 2 months poker dealer course, and then I was in it, and you need to learn how to do the hand thing, like with the cards very quickly.
What's a hand thing?
Yeah, hand thing is more like you need to do the chips very quickly. There's really like with a time stop, they train you this, because if there's like millions of chips, you need to put them in, make them order them in a way that people can read how much money it is. You need to throw the cards very quickly so that the whole table has those cards has to happen in 9 seconds, and stuff like this. It's it's about the motorics, a lot of motoric learning, and because in the end,
it's crazy. I mean, honestly, like you lived so many lifetimes. It feels like you don't talk about it that much, but honestly, how interesting is it that you work in a casino? And what was the biggest pot you've seen in front of you?
Once I did like 50,000 or 60,000, which is a lot of money, but it's not for poker tables a lot. Like both players went all in with 26,000, and then one lost. And I think one of the biggest hands was also 100,000 close to my table. But
jeez, one hand meaning one person put that in, or the total sum of what everyone at the table put in.
No, there was also all-ins where people went all in with 50, 60,000 on a poker table, which is a lot for Germany and Europe. But, bro, I have a lot of crazy stories. Let me share one. I don't care if this brings me in legal trouble. Like, I have so many of those stories. But the casino once, there was a day off. The casino was closed, and they tried this slot machines, right? We all know them. We put money in, push some buttons, you win a jackpot. And they wanted to run a new jackpot. They wanted to test the jackpot, yeah? And what happened is that they put a random number, like 1 million. They wanted to put the number randomly in 1 million jackpot, tested the animation. Okay, it's fine. But what they forgot is that the next day to take out the jackpot out of the system, because there's no 1 million euro jackpot in any slot machines. So they forgot that it's still in the system. And the next day, some guy from Israel went there and put in 50 cents to do one roll, and then he won 1 million euros. Yeah, it's insane.
What?
Yeah. This is crazy.
Oh my God. For him, that was the trip of a lifetime, huh? I mean,
bro, yeah, like all the debts paid, I guess, but this was crazy, and they had to pay. Yeah,
they have to pay. What is it? That's without tax. You have to tax it after, or how?
No, there's no tax on it.
There's no tax on casino winnings.
No, not like this. I mean, no, I don't think so. So far, no. You just take the money and leave.
Really?
Because yeah. But there must be some. I don't know what changed because there was debates about poker winnings being taxing the income because it could be a skill game. But I don't know how it's now. But if you go to the casino and you win money, you leave with cash. Leave with it cash. Yeah.
Wow, really? I thought even when you win the lottery, you have to pay taxes.
No, no. You don't pay taxes for the first year when you win the lottery.
What do you mean first year? Oh, because they pay it out in multiple years?
No. I think what I heard, maybe it's even longer, that they don't take taxes from your wealth the first year or something like this. But then there's some tax hitting or something. I don't know. But yeah. So the first, like, if you do a big win in Germany in gamble, it's the first win is for sure free and taxes. Okay,
Wow.
I'm not an expert. I want to say I'm an expert in this, but I'm pretty sure I'm close to the truth, or this should be the truth. If nothing changed. But casino, how you pay taxes? You go there if you make chips or anything, they give you the money, the cash, and then
I don't know. I thought maybe the casino would already deduct it. Just like
no, never.
Wow. Okay.
No. It's also, but the crazy part is this is how you can launder money, right? So if someone goes to, but I don't know how they prevent this. Maybe they write down your name if you had like this and this amount of cash out or something like this, that the tax office knows what's happening. Because if someone goes there the whole time with cash, plays poker, and then get it out and chips again or something like this, so maybe you can launder money. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I heard about some schemes, I think in Macau, where people would go there and they would hire people who win at poker, but basically it's just a setup. And so that they give that person the money, and then that person catches up, but then gives them back the money basically, and it's laundered.
Lots of criminals. One short story. Once at the poker table, we had the SWAT team coming. Like the police was coming and raiding the casino. And they took all the people at the table, 10 people on the table, because they had a GPS signal that 2 people on this table are the people they're looking for, and those 2 people had a hostage at home. Yeah. So yeah, this is insane.
No way, really?
Yeah. This is wild. Yeah.
Jesus.
This was never in the news, I think. I don't think it was
in Berlin.
Yeah. This was just random in a casino, in our casino. A guy with a cop came to my boss and said, "Hey, this one table, we need to take all the people with us." And yeah, and then they came in with machine guns and everything, and then took all the people, and 2 of them were the people they're looking for. Yeah.
How did they know? Like, because I guess in the casino there are cameras.
The GPS signal. They had the GPS signal of the phones or something like this, and they knew exactly, but they didn't know who it was on the table. This was the funny part. They knew there's like 2 people in the table they know, but they don't know with the signal who it was.
Dude, what the fuck?
I know
That's
one
crazy.
of the players who was innocent, and he was regular of ours. He told the next day, because he was also caught. He's like, "Bro, I thought they have me, but then they wanted the other people." But so, yeah.
Do you see stuff like gambling addiction? Because so many people come back and you see, dude, they're spending all their money there. Is that like a thing?
Yeah, it's bad. It's the good poker tables have been the poker tables with people who are rich enough that okay, if they lose money, they don't care. But sometimes you really see people not being happy, very unhappy, and sometimes even they start being happy in a casino. Imagine I start playing poker. 6 months later, they're just annoying. They shout at the dealer because they lost a lot of money. And this is a part of mine. Even though I love being in a casino, I still feel uncomfortable about the casino a little bit in this part. Because, of course, it's their own decision to go in a casino. But I think the government should protect even better people going to the casino and warn them more about gambling addiction, I think.
Right. Oh, man. Would it be a dream job for you? Obviously, touring is kind of the goal for comics. But would you like to have, in Las Vegas, for example, a show that's just you, where you do stand-up, your show every single night, but then you can also gamble? So you have best of both worlds. Do you still gamble sometimes? Like, you don't really go, right?
I don't know if I told you, but I got, so when I started poker, there was a time, like I got coaching by poker players, like professional coachings.
Wow.
You don't know? Yeah.
No.
So because online poker was beatable back then, when like 2005 was the big boom in poker. So that means a lot of people putting their money online want to gamble and play poker, but they don't know anything. And then people became rich because they studied math a little bit for it. And so I also got coachings, and then I had like 6, 7, 8 trips to Czech Republic, this huge casino. And then I played poker there. And I'm pretty good in poker, but I don't have the discipline to live from it. And but yeah, there was a time I wanted to be
Why discipline? Why discipline?
Because if you want to be a professional poker player, sometimes you did the right thing, but you lost, obviously. Like, let's say I create a moment, 80% win chance, and then I lose because he has 20% win chance, and then, okay, I have to play this time 1,000 times more to make money. And it's a grind, it's a hustle, online poker. And I also been in a casino 3 weeks ago, because I wanted to see if I still have it, if they're still so bad in a casino. And no, they're really still super bad. Like I 100% could live from live poker in a casino, but it's not the life that I want to achieve. But no, it's not a dream to do a comedy in a casino and play at the same time. No,
okay.
It's I mean,
is it very different to play in Berlin versus Prague or Macau versus Las Vegas? Is there really like, you know how like in football, Brazilian football players play very different to Spanish, to Germans, to English? Is there a different style in gambling as well?
I don't know. There's stereotypes for sure. There's like no, that's not. I don't think so. But there's like stereotypes, different people in casinos. Like you have Arab guys and Turkish people, very passionate. If you win against them, you insulted them, and then they get very mad. And you have Asian people who don't
like trash talking.
Yeah. Or no, they're more like, why you do this to me, my brother? Why you do this? I thought we're friends.
So, they take it really personal. Oh, damn.
The best parts are Asians. I love Asians in a casino. They lose so much money. They lose so much money, don't care. But they don't care. I went to one thing in a casino as a poker dealer, you should never do, ask someone how it's going, because most of the time it will go bad. And there was a roulette table, and there's like 2 cute little Asian middle-aged women laughing, hee. And it's like, hey, how's it going for you? It's like, yeah, I have 40,000 lost in 2 hours. Like, what the fuck?
Whoa. That's crazy.
And then the husband came only with 500s, putting him in all on the table. It's like, it's also insane. I love it. But
dude, that's crazy. It's weird sometimes with Asians or generally rich people. You just don't know how much money they have. I used to work in a shop for a summer in Swarovski, and the most expensive thing there at the time, I think, was like 20,000. It was like this really nice big crystal dragon. And one day this person just came in really shabby clothes. You wouldn't expect anything. And they just look at the price thing and they're like, oh yeah, I'll take 2 of them. And they took it so, like, I couldn't believe it. You know, you will never assume, but they were like, oh yeah, it's just 40,000. That's easy. Or whatever it is.
Because Asian people, I mean, like, Asian people, it's a whole continent, but mostly, like, if you talk about people from China, Japan, Korea, really all Asians, they have pride, right? They don't show off with their wealth. They're not emotional about money. And also gambling is a little bit of culture there. So it's like, I don't know, they're just, it is, right? I mean,
I don't know. I think it depends on the age. I mean, the younger you are, the more you show off, of course, you know. Generally, I would say.
True, yeah. But I don't think you see... Say?
No, yeah, because Korea and Japan, not Japan as much, but Korea and China were so poor until a few decades ago that I think they do want to show if they have. But I mean, not everyone's like this, of course.
I mean, yeah, and also, yeah. But I feel like they're like a little bit more stylish about money. I feel like it sounds weird how to say it in this way, but there's never like big bling bling and stuff like this. They love to enjoy good stuff, but it's yeah.
Well, so when you're the dealer and someone has a good day, do you get a big tip? Again, James Bond, in Casino Royale, there's that scene where he gets a $500,000 tip. Do you get something?
not that big, but I had once a guy gave me one. Yeah. No, but here's the thing. Also, back then working in a German casino, if they give you tip, you cannot keep it. There is like there's like a little box, you put it in, and you have a fixed salary. So this was horrible, because sometimes the guy gave me 100 euros after a hand, right? Like, here, take 100 euros tip, and then I didn't get anything from it, which was annoying. But yeah, they're not so giving not so much tip in German casinos, I felt like.
But why is it? Why don't they allow it?
It was a weird system. They say they cannot afford the salary out of the tips and stuff. It was weird back then. I think now they get a little bit of the tip, but so we had to lie to them. Actually, it was like, yeah, thanks for the dealers, and I put it there, and I never had it. It's weird.
Yeah. What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
They're ripping you off, dude. What the fuck?
Okay. Yeah. I lost money even though I'm not playing.
Yeah. Whoa! What a scam.
Casino is wild.
Yeah. Oh shit. I'm sure you have so many more stories. I know there's some more. I don't know if you can talk about that. Anyways. Yeah. Anyways, before we're going long. Before we end, dude, I was just browsing because I want to find some stuff we could talk about, obviously, and I found. On your Facebook, I found a thing I don't really remember. Could you talk about this?
I'm so afraid. Hey! Okay, that's a good thing. I was very afraid right now because I think last year I paid 20 euros that all my Facebook posts get removed. Like, because so...
What? So wait, what?
So, okay, wait, before we talk about this, we have Facebook since we are how old? 17, 18? You remember?
So about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was browsing and so bored. I have so many posts that are so cringe, and some are a bit tricky too, like with changed times, right? Jokes you do there. And then I had like and then I did like a service or something for $10 or something, and that it removed all my comments, all my Facebook posts. I mean, some of them I let, like this one, but yeah, Facebook tracks is long, right? There's a long time of Facebook history.
So forever. Wow, so you paid a service to get rid of your old posts?
Yeah, it was illegal. It was an illegal script or something. Facebook doesn't allow it, but it took like 4 hours, and it removed all my likes and
interesting. Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, because I don't know what an idiot I was back then. Maybe I said something stupid, and then now I want to do comedy. And people will figure,
I mean, hey, we've all done. Yeah. Well, yeah. What's this image exactly? I don't know. You ran 100 kilometers?
Yes. So funny that you picked this out. Yeah, this is like walking, 100 kilometers walking. It's not running. It's not an ultra marathon, but it's called Mammutmarsch, and it's like you walk. Yeah, you just walk like you're taking a walk, and this is 100 kilometers, and in 24 hours you don't do it, like you cannot sleep. Right? I took, even if you can see, 25 hours and 24 minutes. And this was great. I can really recommend. I did it not trained. I did the longest distance I walked before was 20 kilometers. I did 2 weeks before to see how I feel. I had blisters and everything. But I wanted to do this not trained. I wanted to suffer because I was reading this David Goggins book, Can't Hurt Me. And I wanted to see what happens if I really cannot do it anymore. And this was really a rough one. And so it's, I started
at
12.
Walking?
Yeah,
you were working with blisters and everything at some point?
Yeah, this was really, I wasn't prepared to do something like this. I had like a bag, a special bag where you can drink water out of it, because every 20 kilometers there's a checkpoint where they give you food and drink. And so I was not prepared what all of this means. So, and after 60 kilometers, I realized, bro, I have a lot of blisters, probably my feet. I could feel it soaking, right? And I was like, okay, what I do now is I don't look into my feet until the finish line, right? I don't, because if I look there, I'm thinking about it. So if I don't see it, it's not there. But, and it was really long trip. And I didn't train for this. And after the last checkpoint was at 80 kilometers, I was so dead. I think my speed after this checkpoint was like 1 or 2 kilometers an hour. I was so slow because I was really in pain. And
oh my God.
It was also the start was 12 p.m. and it was very hot in summer. It was like 30 degrees, and then the finish was also the same heat. It was so brutal, and I was very happy because I was really dead. I was really feeling like passing out, and I remember that I talked to some doctors at the last checkpoint. It's like, hey, I'm getting dizzy and stuff. They're like, yeah, maybe you have a problem. You want to check? I was like, no, I don't want to check because I don't want to know, right? And then I walked, and I had 8 blisters. One of them, 2 of them looked really bad. I couldn't walk for 2 days after this.
My God,
and I was really dead. And,
that's why you didn't look so happy. I thought you'd be happy after 100 kilometers, but you just look.
No, I was super happy because I think
you don't
sometimes.
show it, though.
No, I was really happy doing this, but it was really good, and everyone who's listening now should at least do something where you where you feel like, okay, maybe I don't make it. Maybe it's impossible for me. Because, hey, people train for this stupid shit. They told me that before you do something like this, you should do at least 50 or 60 kilometers training. I never did something like this. And I think the most joy and confidence we gain out of things where we in our mind feel like, oh, there could be a chance, this is impossible, and then still do it. And yeah, so I enjoyed this a lot, and I did it the second time too.
Really?
This time, this time more prepared. I only took like 24 hours and 30 minutes. But I want to do it one last time. I need to do it one last time because I want to be below 24 hours. I don't know why.
Dude, I might join you. I mean, this sounds... Did you have blisters the second time?
Less. I had only 1 blister, but I knew what to do so I don't get them. This was great. Yeah.
Well, what do you have to do?
Once
Better
you
socks.
Feel moist in your shoe or something, you have to change the socks and also make your feet clean. And then I was good. But I have to say, the second time I almost stopped because I took a shit in a bush, and then I had really big the circulation problems out of nowhere. Like I was really dizzy because I stopped. If you walk for 60 hours and then you stop and your body is fucked. On my back then girlfriend, I texted her, like, hey, maybe I will quit this one. But then I knew in my mind, hey, this is the trick. You thinking, I passed it once, so it's fine that I quit now. No. You have to keep going. And
wow. Can't hurt me, huh? Wow.
But yeah. It's always your mind is tricking you. And then I said, okay, I do one more kilo.
How big of a shit did you take that you
this shit was bad. It was really bad because I don't know what happened. I was in a bush somewhere in Berlin, and then out of nowhere I feel so bad. And I was really prepared to leave.
Oh my God. Wow, dude, but congrats on making it. I might join a third time. So it's really no sleep, nothing, just nonstop.
No sleep, nothing. Every 20 kilometers a checkpoint where you can refill your water and you get some snacks. And I think everyone can do it. If you're not extremely overweight, if you're not extremely old. I mean, even if you're old, you can do this. There was a guy who was like 70 and he was doing it. But everyone can do it. And I strongly believe everyone can do it. But you just need to find your inner dog and kill it. Because I see sometimes people, they have like 2 events. They have also 50 kilometer event. And I think it's bullshitting yourself. Because I think, if you tell yourself, okay, I do only 50, I have only to do 50 kilometers, okay, you feel like your body's prepared only for 50. But if you say 100, you will do 100. I'm
right.
If I tell you I will kill, like you have to think like this. If I tell you who's listening right now that I kill you if you don't walk 100 kilometers, will you do 100 kilometers? Of course you will do, right? So it's like, I'm very excited. You should all do this. It's very fun.
Okay. Well, when's the next? Well, we'll talk about it. Well, we should maybe do it.
We should do this next year. Next year, we do this next year.
Okay. Well, do you actually go with someone, or is it more like a meditative thing also where you go by yourself?
I mean, because speeds are different. The best thing you should do it by yourself. Right. Because sometimes a person feels walking faster. Sometimes a little bit slower. Changes.
Do you listen
to
a podcast? It would be funny if you just listened to David Goggins. The book is like 20 hours, right?
I listened, and I also listened to music. I need music for this. And
yeah. Dude, it sounds awesome. I didn't know this. Very stoic too.
Yeah. It's also
and we did this is amazing, dude. We
should have one podcast. We should have a podcast. We talked a lot about casino today, but we should talk at least we should have one episode, please, about stoicism like self beliefs. I think you and me, we would kill it there. I'm very grateful that thanks to you, I was able to talk about my casino life, also this, and Lenny Bruce. But I think you and me,
that would be awesome. I love to. You'll be on anytime. You're one of my best buddies, and it was we didn't talk that much about comedy in the end. So we still have to do a round 2 and round 3 and so on. And there's so much more we can talk about as well. So for now, very cool. Thanks so much for sharing about. Dude, you lived so many lifetimes. It feels like you did the casino. You're a lawyer. You do comedy. Obviously, you did these things where you walked 100 kilometers. I didn't know that. So.
You didn't know
we're
that?
buddies. I didn't know that you. Yeah.
Oh wow! I thought you know it. Yeah.
No. I did see that I had liked your that post, that photo, and I didn't like it this time, so I must have liked it in the past, but I completely forgot about it. So
marathon. I also need to run one marathon in my life.
One marathon. Okay. Are you still doing the diet with the ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Still,
I mean, not
really?
so much. I don't I think now I figured out my diet, my what I eat. So I don't need ChatGPT right now. I think now I know the calories, but it helps a lot to ask ChatGPT about stuff.
Yeah, your sleep has improved like crazy, right? Since
because
next time we also have to talk about Brian Johnson. Also,
we have so much we need to talk about.
Yeah, dude. Anyways, thank you so much, man, William. That was absolutely awesome. Thanks so much for for this conversation, and let's talk about the Mammutmarsch next time.
Thanks for having me,
dude. Anytime. Let's do it again soon.